Hey guys, if you're new, my name is Kaylee and welcome to my channel. I had my baby early. If you guys watched my last video, I was doing my summer decor and I was like 30 or 31 weeks pregnant, I don't really remember. And yeah, my life has just been really crazy. I never thought I'd be having my first baby 6 weeks early. I had her at 34 weeks. I will get into all the details, but I wanted to film this video just before everything kind of goes out of my mind. I wanted to do it while it's still fresh. She's not even a month old yet, but we've been home for a while and I've kind of had time to think about things and I'm ready to film this video. It was emotional watching some of the footage, so it took me a while to like actually sit down and watch some of the footage that we got, because it's just like, it was a great time, but it was still a lot emotionally to go through. So anyway, we're gonna get into my birth story. I have vlog clips from the time in the hospital, not too many, as you'll see why, but I just want to have this video to look back on now that I'm like able to watch that stuff through and edit this video and make it really sentimental, so I can just have it when I want to go watch our little girl being born. So anyway, there's a lot of details in this video, so it's probably going to be pretty long, so I'm sorry, but I just want to make sure everything's covered and you guys know what happened and why I had to have my baby so early. We're practicing baby wearing and I'm trying to get used to it, so it makes me nervous. I keep checking to make sure she's breathing and stuff. Okay, so this all started on May 28th. I was going to my regular checkup. I was 32 weeks pregnant, and it all started when I went to get my vitals taken, and my doctor told me my blood pressure was high, which I knew it was high. They told me it was like 130 something over 80 or 90, which is high for me. Normally I'm like a 109, 110 over like 70 or 80 person. So I've always had good blood pressure throughout my pregnancy. I had a perfect pregnancy, literally no morning sickness, nothing. And 32 weeks hit and everything went nuts. So I wasn't that worried about it because I thought maybe it was just a fluke, or I was nervous because I knew I was getting like closer to the end of my pregnancy. Also, I live in Tennessee and it was very, very hot. So I was just like, oh, maybe I just worked myself up walking in here. So I don't know. I was trying to justify it, and kind of my doctor was too, because normally like it was so abnormal for me to have high blood pressure. So at first she's like, okay, let's not worry about it, just relax and we'll take it again. So I was like, okay. So obviously it's hard to relax when you think something might be wrong. So obviously when they took it again, it was still high. So she said, don't worry, I'm just gonna send you over to labor and delivery so you can get some blood work done, and then we'll go from there. So naturally, I'm trying not to cry. I was sitting in the room, and this is the one appointment my mom didn't come with me to. So I was all by myself, and I get in the car and I call my husband and I call my mom and I tell him I'm like crying, I can't even talk, telling him I gotta go to labor and delivery for blood work. So I tried not to freak out. I drove myself there as calmly as I could. I didn't bring anything. I didn't have a hospital bag packed. I had nothing because I was like, I'm just gonna go home. They're gonna tell me it's fine. I get there. I will have to wait forever to get into a room, which was fine. But I was already nervous and stuff, and my phone was dying, so that was kind of making me nervous too. So I finally get into like a triage room. They hook me up to the monitor. They put her on the monitor, and they put my blood pressure cuff on, and they're gonna take my blood pressure every 10 minutes. And it was staying in the 130s, 140s, but they said it still wasn't high enough where they need to treat it with medicine or deliver me. So I was like, okay, so can I go home? So they ran a bunch of blood work on me. They took like a bunch of blood. I don't know how many vials of blood they took. And they ran all my labs, and unfortunately a lot of them came back abnormal. The main one was my uric acid was really high. Surprisingly though, I didn't have any protein in my urine. So I was thinking, oh, I don't have preeclampsia, I just have gestational hypertension, which is what they diagnosed me with. So when they sent me, the nurse came in, and after she talked to my doctor, after reviewing my labs, and due to that high uric acid, they wanted to admit me. So the plan was for them to admit me on it was Friday, and they were gonna give me a steroid shot for the baby's lungs in case we had to deliver early, and I had to be on magnesium. And if you've ever been on magnesium, I feel for you, because I just like, that was a whole experience that I never ever ever want to go through again. And I have a lot more to talk about with the magnesium stuff, but anyway, I had no idea. I had heard that magnesium was rough. I didn't know how rough. And and I didn't know what all was ahead of me at this point. I was still thinking things were gonna be fine, which they were in the end, but goodness, it's just such a long story. I hope I'm not gonna miss any details. So my husband gets there, he comes back, we wait for another like 4 to 5 hours for actual labor and delivery room, because if you're on magnesium, you have to be on the labor and delivery floor. You can't be on the antepartum or postpartum ward. So they admit me, I'm in my room, they come in, they have to start a catheter, super fun. Never had a catheter before. I've actually never even been admitted to the hospital before this, so this is a lot going on at once. So I had none of my stuff, no phone charger, nothing. So my husband had to go home and get all my stuff for me, and my mom was out of town, so we were trying to wait it out to see if she needed to come back or not, because I honestly still thought I would just get this medicine and be fine. So anyway, they started my catheter and they started magnesium, and they told me that you'll feel hot, you might feel nauseous, you know, but I had heard it was really, really bad. And so within like minutes of them starting the magnesium, I was instantly feeling hot, but it didn't feel that bad. So they started me on that. They gave me the first round of the steroid shot, and you have to wait another 24 hours after the first round to get the second round of the steroid shot for the baby's lungs to take full effect. So I was in that hospital. I was in the hospital from May 28th through the 30th, I think. It was just through the weekend. And I was on magnesium the whole time. And by the end of it, my mom said I was basically lifeless. Like, they were scared I was like literally dying, but it's just what it does to you. It's a smooth muscle relaxer. It's essentially Epsom salt, which they're injecting into me. You can't eat, so I was starving. Apparently I had a lot of fluid on me. I lost 8 pounds of fluid while I was in the hospital. That was crazy. So anyway, I was on this magnesium, burning from it makes you feel like you're burning from the inside out, and there's nothing you can do. I was begging for ice chips constantly, and my mom was putting freezing ice cold washcloths on my face. Your eyes don't work. I couldn't read, I couldn't see. So basically all I could do was lay there and feel like I'm burning from the inside out. And I'm not being dramatic, this was literally awful, and if you've been on magnesium, you know what it feels like. And then I would just beg for freezing cold washcloths to be put on me, and yeah, that was me for 48 hours. By the end, I couldn't even lift my arms and legs. They kept testing your reflexes to make sure they weren't giving you too much and giving you magnesium poisoning, and then it also makes the baby really sluggish. So she wasn't moving very much, but they had her on the monitor the whole time and she was fine. So that was awful. They finally discharged me that Sunday after I got the second dose of the steroid shot for her. And as soon as they take you off magnesium, you feel better within 30 minutes because it does get out of your system really quickly, and that's why it's so important for you to have a catheter so they can monitor your urine output to make sure your kidneys are working so the magnesium is getting out of your system. So that was my time at the hospital. The first time, the doctor that was on call was not my doctor, but she came in and she said, you're gonna go home on bed rest and you just need to follow up with your doctor within a week. So I was like, great, okay, I can do bed rest for another, you know, I was already 32 or 33 weeks at this point. So I was like, I can do bed rest for a couple weeks, and then they were gonna deliver me regardless at 37 weeks. So I was like, okay, no problem. I mean, still not thrilled about it, but it was better than sitting in that hospital. So they sent me home and I was on bed rest for a week. I constantly monitored my blood pressure. I literally tried to do as little as possible, but I felt fine this whole time, and that's why this was such a shock to me, because I never had any I mean, looking back now, I probably had some symptoms of preeclampsia that I should have known, but I really didn't feel that bad. So fast forward a week later, when I go to my follow-up appointment on June 4th, my blood pressure was still high. It was like in the 140s over 90s. So then my doctor got a little more nervous, and she had noticed that in the hospital I did lose a lot of fluid, so that was a sign of preeclampsia. I didn't have protein in my urine, but I had high uric acid, which she said essentially is the same thing for preeclampsia patients. I didn't know that. So she was like, okay, well, I know your blood pressure's high, but you can stay on bed rest with that, but let's do what we call a biophysical profile on the baby to make sure she's okay. So they sent me over to ultrasound, and she had to get, they were looking at, I think, 8 different things, because the best you can get is an 8 out of 8. And she scored a 4 out of 8. It's a 30-minute ultrasound. she was just not doing what they wanted her to do. So that's when my doctor panicked and sent me immediately over to labor and delivery and was like, we might have to deliver this baby today. So instant panic, I didn't cry. I was like, I think I was in shock, but I called my husband, I called my mother-in-law, I called everybody. I was like freaking out because I really thought we were gonna have this baby today. So they sent me over to labor and delivery, triaged me again, everything, sent me into a room. This time they put me, let's see, where did I go first? To an antepartum room. So just means they sent me to a room like you would go to before you had your baby if they had to monitor you. So this was actually a better experience because I wasn't hooked up to as much stuff. The beds were comfier. The labor and delivery beds are not meant obviously for you to sleep on for long periods of time. So this room was very cozy and nice, and honestly it was a way better experience. So they essentially were going to keep me on bed rest there until I reached 34 weeks, which was Wednesday. So they admitted me on a Friday and they wanted me to make it to 34 weeks on Wednesday. So during this time, they're just monitoring me, constantly taking my vitals, checking everything, but I had full ability to get up and walk around the room. I wasn't like tied to the bed. I could use the bathroom and get a shower and stuff. So that was pleasant, but I was bored out of my mind because I sat there from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 days of just laying in that hospital bed, basically on bed rest. So, every day they made me do a biophysical profile on the baby, and every day that we were at the hospital, she passed it. She made 100 on every single one. So I think that one was just like a fluke. If she never would have failed that one, we never would have gotten sent to labor and delivery. So that was kind of weird. But she made 100 on every single one, and she was doing great. Now I was doing great, my blood pressure was staying good, so I was like, maybe they'll discharge me and I can stay on bed rest for 3 more weeks. They ultimately made the decision as a team, all my doctors were great, I fully trusted them, that we needed to deliver at 34 weeks. So Tuesday night rolled around, and that night they said, okay, we're gonna start the induction process at 1 a.m, so go ahead and get some rest. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna rest. I actually, thank goodness, slept, and they didn't have a labor and delivery room open until around 7 the next morning. So thankfully I slept from like midnight to 7, which was awesome. So I got a shower that morning, I did my hair, like I tried to do as much as I could because I had been told that as a first-time mom and that being induced that I was probably gonna be in labor for 24 to 48 hours. They were like, it's gonna be a long time. So I fully prepared myself for that. I knew that was coming. We got sent to labor and delivery, and they started me on the first dose of the pill that softens your cervix. And the nurse, we had amazing nurses this whole time, like literally some of the best nurses. I only had one nurse that I didn't like, and I don't know if she was just having a bad day or something, but she was not nice and made me cry. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. All of our nurses were literally so amazing. We had a great experience at this hospital, and we were so well taken care of, which made this experience so much more pleasant, even though it was awful and really scary. But anyway, so they gave me that first dose of that pill, and they said normal first time moms, it takes them 3 to 4 doses to get their cervix ready and dilated. So I was technically fingertip dilated to start, which obviously I think helped the process. But normally they start you from like nothing with this. So they gave me the first dose, and you have to wait 4 hours in between doses. So the first one they gave me at 7:30, and they came in and checked me every few hours, and then the next one they gave me at 11:30. So around, I think it was around like 10:30, it was not very long after the first dose. I was trying to rest. I was already naturally having some contractions. They weren't that painful, but that obviously helped the process too. They had me on the monitor, and I was having contractions. I just really wasn't feeling them yet. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take a nap. I was really tired, so I just tried to rest, and I laid on my left side because that was better for your blood pressure. It takes less pressure off your major vessels. So I was laying on my left side, and the nurse was being awesome. She was bringing me popsicles. I was having ice chips. I was just trying to rest and relax. I've got vlog clips, so I will insert all the footage. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this video, but I'll insert the footage as I talk about it. So I was laying there, and I instantly felt a ton of warm liquid coming out of myself, and I swore, I was like, something happened. Like, I don't know what it is. It was a weird sensation. So I called the nurse, and she took one of those little paper strips, I don't remember what they're called, to test and see if it was your water. And it was negative. And she was like, no, it wasn't your water. You probably just peed a little bit. And I was like, this is not pee, but okay. So I went to the bathroom and was able to use the restroom. So I definitely did not pee myself. It was not pee. And there was a lot of like, this is going to be TMI, but it's a birth story. So all births are TMI. There was blood in the toilet. So I knew things were progressing. So I asked the nurse, I was like, are you sure this isn't my water? And she still said, no, it's not your water. It's fine. So I got back into bed and it was constantly leaking out of me to the point where I couldn't even get comfortable because I could feel all this water coming out of me, and it was like rolling down your back, up your back when you're laying down and stuff. So I was like shoving anything I could like down there to like soak it up. So they were bringing me like paper towels, washcloths, anything. So I knew it was my water that had broken, but they never officially said it was. So anyway, that was kind of frustrating, but it definitely was because when I actually went into labor, they didn't have to break my water. So they gave me 2 doses of that pill that goes up into your vagina to soften your cervix. And I labored all the way till I was like a 5 or a 6. And so this was around, I don't know, probably 5 o'clock at night. So I started at 7:30 a.m. and this is now by like 5-ish. And so the pain started getting pretty bad, obviously. I was at a 5.5 or 6. I can't remember exactly how far dilated I was. And they had told me, my doctors had said, if I got the epidural, it decreases my chances for having to have a C-section because it would help my blood pressure to stay within the manageable range. Because if it went over this certain number that they had, I think it was in the 160s, then, you know, I might not be able to have a vaginal delivery. So, plus I was in a lot of pain. So I requested the epidural, literally 10 out of 10 recommend. I don't know, like I'm all for going natural and I wanted to go as long as I could without the epidural, but by the time I reached a 6, I was like, okay, I need it. And the guy that did it was like literally an angel, amazing. My mom couldn't stay in the room. Erin got to stay in the room. And so my mom left and she said when I came back, she came back into the room, I was a different person. I was smiling, I was happy, I felt amazing. It worked instantly for me. And it literally made my experience much more pleasant just because I was already so anxious about everything, having a premature baby, none of this going to plan. This being my first baby, like all my experiences I felt like that I wanted were getting thrown away, like I wasn't gonna get anything that I wanted. And I just remember like praying that certain things would go right, like I would get to have a vaginal delivery, or you know, I would get to be present for my delivery and that I wouldn't have to be on high dose of magnesium during delivery because they had told me that was a high possibility. And I wanted to be present for my birth. Being on magnesium kind of wipes you out. I prayed for so many things and thankfully God answered almost all my prayers, or he answered all of them, but like it was just, it's such an experience. Anyway, there's so much to say. I feel like it's so hard to articulate like everything that I went through and how God answered so many of my prayers, even though they were answered in different ways than maybe I had wanted, they were still answered. But even my mom said that when I was getting my epidural, she just went out to the hallway and prayed that some things would go right for me or go the way that I wanted them so I could have somewhat of the birth experience that I always wanted. So anyway, I got the epidural, felt great. They had to put a catheter in you obviously, but you don't feel that with the epidural. And I've already had a catheter the previous hospital stay with nothing, like no epidural, so I knew what it felt like. That was fun. Anyway, so I labored for a little bit longer. I was having crazy contractions, didn't feel a thing. It was amazing. So I told Erin that it was around 7:30 at night and I said I'm gonna take a nap, and then around 8:30 I'll like put some makeup on or something and like try to feel a little bit more myself and get all my camera set up and everything. So 7:30, I'm laying down on my side and the nurse comes in and she's like, hey, can't find the baby on the monitor. It's probably just because you're laying on your side. So she is trying to readjust the monitors and she's like, I can't find the baby. Can you lay on your back? So I was like, okay. So I laid on my back and I looked at the nurse, and this wasn't my normal nurse. My normal nurse was pulled into another delivery. And I said, hey, I feel a lot of pressure down there. And her face, she instantly goes, you do? And I was like, yeah, is that normal? And she was like, hold on. So she like threw a glove on and checked me. And she, as soon as she stuck her hand in, she looked at me and she goes, okay, no time for practice pushes. I can feel this baby's head. She's coming now. So instantly we go into panic mode. My mom's in the bathroom, has no clue what's going on. Aaron just looks at me like, what the heck, this is about to actually happen. And instantly panic mode, like the whole room just goes nuts because we had to have all the NICU people in there. We had to have like, there was like 12 people in the delivery room. My mom's trying to set up the cameras, Aaron's trying to get everything going. I'm freaking out, I'm just laying there. They're like throwing my legs up in the stirrups and breaking down the bed and throwing stuff on the floor. And I was laying there and I was like, they told me to keep my legs like not closed, but like together, because every time I opened them, I just felt like she was gonna fly out. So I remember telling the nurse, I was like, this doctor better hurry because I'm gonna have to push this baby. Like I could feel the urge to push so bad, and they wouldn't let me obviously because the doctor wasn't in there. So thankfully he got in there fairly quickly and they were able to set up the room really quickly. I mean, it felt like forever, but this was all around, let's see, 7:45. The room was set up. My mom had the cameras going. I'm gonna insert all this footage of the actual birth. Okay, so they put my legs in the stirrups. The doctor got in there. He introduced himself. He's super nice. Literally my favorite doctor I had this whole time, thank goodness. I loved him. He was so nice. It made me feel so comfortable. And he was amazing. So I started pushing at 8 o'clock. She was born at 8:15. So I pushed less than 15 minutes. It was amazing. I'm so thankful I actually got the actual birth experience that I wanted. I was there for my whole birth mentally. Like I did have to be on magnesium, but my doctor said he would put me on the lowest dose possible so I wouldn't feel horrible during the birth. I literally appreciated that so much, and it really helped keep my blood pressure stable, and I was able to have a vaginal delivery, which is just what I preferred. So that was amazing. I got to have the birth that I wanted, and Aaron was right there by my side. He was trying to like keep me calm and keep my fan on me because honestly I was burning up just from like all the stress, and then the magnesium does make you hot. So I pushed like 10 to 15 minutes and she was born at 8:15. It was super quick. I literally didn't even believe that a baby was gonna come out until they were like, I think I had like 5 more minutes left of pushing, and they told me to reach down and feel her head, and that was insane. That's a feeling like no other. Just to feel her sweet little head coming out, like that was really crazy. So they have all the NICU people in there, and they had prepared me before that they might have to take her straight away. I might not even get to see her. So I mentally knew that I probably wouldn't get to hold her, that they might just take her straight away. She might not be crying when she comes out. Like there was just so many things having a premature baby, you just don't know. So thankfully I was very well prepared for that. But she came out crying, screaming, and they put her on my chest and I got to hold her for a little bit. And then they took her to obviously do all like the weighing and stuff, but she got to stay in the room with me for a while because I had thought they would instantly take her and I wouldn't even get to see her. Aaron got to cut the cord. We didn't get to do golden hour or anything like that obviously, but I still got some of the things that I really wanted. I got to hold her for a minute, twice technically. She only weighed 4 pounds 13 ounces. So she was tiny, but she was long. She was 18.5 inches. Was breathing instantly when she came out, room oxygen, which was a huge blessing because the lungs aren't technically fully developed at 34 weeks. That was why it was so important for me to get that steroid shot. So they took her, they weighed her, they did all this stuff. Aaron cut the cord, we did a little footprints. I have all this on vlog footage. I'll insert what I can. But it was just amazing. The actual birth experience was amazing. So after that, they had to take her to the NICU. So Aaron went with them, obviously, to make sure she got checked in okay and like just stay with her. I couldn't see her until the next day because I was on magnesium. So they bumped up my magnesium a little bit after I gave birth and things calmed down. And then I was able to sleep just a tiny bit. I was so exhausted. Like the sleep out, or the tiredness you feel after giving birth and like all the emotions and stuff, that was like a feeling I've never felt before. And I had to sleep in the labor and delivery bed, which was so uncomfortable because it has all the bars where it can be broken down. So I didn't sleep that much. I had to wear the compression boots on my legs to prevent blood clots. I still had my catheter. I had everything hooked up to me, so it wasn't the best sleep. So Aaron went to go see her again that night, and I instantly started pumping, trying to get her some breast milk to take up to her. So the next morning, they had told me I was going to be on magnesium for 24 hours after birth. That was standard for preeclampsia. My doctor came in and saw my blood pressures were looking really good. I mean, they were still high, but they were not like what he normally sees. I was so borderline preeclampsia this whole time that it was really hard for them because they were like, you're not a typical pre-E patient. I didn't have any of the normal symptoms. All I really have is the blood pressure and the high uric acid. Decided that about 12 hours after delivery that they would take me off MAG so I could go up to a postpartum room and then I could be free to see my baby, which was so nice. So I had amazing nurses. She wheeled me up to NICU on the way to my room so I could just see her and drop off the little bit of colostrum that I got for her. And y'all, seeing your newborn baby in the NICU, I mean, I just can't describe that feeling. Like, I'm gonna try not to cry because, ooh, it was hard. Gosh, I did not want to cry. She was hooked up. Thankfully, she didn't need oxygen or anything like that. They had an IV in her hand. She had an NG tube and then all the sensors all over her to monitor all her vitals. It was really hard to see. They won't let 2 parents by the bedside due to COVID, so we had to go by ourselves each time. But we had some amazing NICU nurses that let us get one family picture together, and literally these nurses, NICU nurses, I mean, all nurses are amazing, but the ones we had in the NICU, I would literally do anything for these ladies. They were so kind, so compassionate, and they made me feel so much better. I don't know, they just went above and beyond for me, and I know they do that for all parents, but like literally they were angels. I can't even describe how sweet they were and how much more pleasant they made the NICU stay. So I had a little card that had her name on it that says, hello, my name is, and then a swaddle with her name on it that I had originally planned of just taking her like announcement pictures in it. So I thought I wasn't even gonna get to do that. So I took it into the NICU and they were like, yeah, let's have some photos. Like, let's take a little photo shoot. There was one NICU nurse that's like apparently like the pro at taking all the baby's pictures, and she would do it for different holidays and stuff. So she helped get the baby all ready, wrapped her up in her blanket, hid all of her leads and lines, put her a cute little big hat on, and put her name card, and took a million pictures for me so I could post those to announce her name, and then let Aaron and I get a family picture with her, and I'll put all those pictures in at the end. But she was literally an angel. So at least I got to have that. I got to have some sense of normalcy for a delivery. Like, I just wanted something, you know. I just wanted a picture to tell everybody, like, hey, she's here. This is her name. So she did great. The baby did great in the NICU. He was only essentially there to monitor her blood sugars the first few days and to teach her how to eat because she was using the NG nose tube. And because she was 34 weeks, the suck, swallow, breathe reflex hasn't kicked in yet, but it did quickly for her. She was a very quick learner. So anyway, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's so many details. So she was jaundiced, so she had to do phototherapy for a few days, but that went away. And like literally all her blood sugars stayed so good. The only intervention she needed was feeding. So she had baby physical therapy, which was really cool because I'm an occupational therapist, so I got to see the PT/OT side of NICU, which was really awesome. And so she was admitted on that Wednesday, which is when I had her, June 9th. And she was only in the NICU 8 days, which was amazing. 8 days for a 34-weeker. But still, those 8 days were hell for me as a parent. And Erin, like, we couldn't be together. So I remember one day I walked in and I just saw her all by herself in her little bed, and I just started bawling my eyes out. And I've only cried twice in the NICU, which I was proud of. But the sweetest nurse again came over and she's like, are you okay? Like, just trying to talk to me. And I said, yeah, I'm fine. It's just really hard to see her like this with all these like tubes and stuff. And she's like, oh, I know, do you want to hold her? And I was like, yeah, because they hadn't offered me that yet. I didn't even know I was allowed to hold her. So she was like, yeah, let me pull you up a chair and you just stay as long as you want and you hold your baby. And literally that just made me the happiest I've ever been. It made her the happiest she's ever been. And we were able to do skin to skin, and I stayed up there for 3 to 4 hours just holding her and talking to her and, you know, just spending time with your baby. Like, it's so unnatural to be separated from your newborn like that. So it was hard. So 8 days later, she got discharged from NICU, which was the best day ever. I got the phone call, and early in the morning, we hadn't even put the car seat in the car. It was great. We were not ready because they had told us it was going to be a lot longer. I guess they just prepare you for the worst, just in case. So she got to come home on day 8 of NICU, and we were thrilled. None of my family had even seen her yet except my mom, and that was just briefly in the delivery room. Unfortunately, Aaron was stuck in Arkansas for work, so he didn't get to go pick her up, which I was gonna wait on him, but he didn't get home till super late, and he wanted his baby home as soon as possible. So me, my mother-in-law, and my mom went to go pick her up, and that was just a fun experience. I'll put all that footage in, I have it all. The discharge nurse we had that day was actually one of my old friends, so that was really, really cool, and such a like answer to prayer too, just that whole experience to have a familiar face throughout this whole ride. So we got discharged and we brought her home, and instantly I had all my family here wanting to meet her, like my siblings, my dad, my grandparents, everybody wanted to meet her. Obviously they all washed their hands and made sure they were super careful when touching her. But it was just such a happy day, and I was exhausted, and I was still not feeling that well after giving birth. I still had a lot of the lingering preeclampsia symptoms, which I can get into a whole video about that, like postpartum and stuff, if you guys are interested. So that was not fun. I honestly didn't eat for like 3 or 4 days. When I was home, I was sad because my baby was in the NICU. There's just a lot of things, but if you guys want a whole postpartum video, I'd love to do that for you and just talk about my experience, because everyone's is so different. So that was amazing. We got to bring our baby home, and she got to meet the dogs and meet all my family and see her room. And yeah, so now she's gonna be a month old on tomorrow, which is crazy. And I know I've probably left so many details out of the story, but it was just crazy. My life for the past, since May 28th to now, has just not been what I thought it was gonna be, and that's okay. All I cared about was having a healthy baby, and thankfully she's perfectly healthy. She's probably, I think she weighs about 6 pounds now, so she's gained a lot of weight. We are breastfeeding and I'm pumping, so that's been hard. I think the hardest thing about postpartum and like having her home has been learning how to breastfeed, because I thought it'd just be so easy. I'm like, oh, it's natural, so I'll just plop her on my boob and she'll be fine. No. We saw a lactation consultant at her pediatrician appointment, which was very helpful, but it's really hard because in the NICU they just bottle fed her, so she was used to the bottle, and it was really hard to get her to like want to breastfeed. So now we're doing great with it. We are still doing that, and then I'm pumping so other people can feed her and Aaron can feed her, and it's just what she's comfortable with. So and then we still do Neosure formula twice a day with a vitamin, just because she was premature. I'm just doing what her doctor said to do, so she gets formula and breast milk. But we're doing great. She's sleeping really well, she's eating really well, and she's growing a lot. So it's just been amazing to have her home. We love her so much. She's so cute. She's sleeping so good in this wrap. Yeah, so the epidural, 10 out of 10 recommend. If you want to get it, don't be scared, because I was really scared that it was gonna be, I was more scared to get it, honestly. That's why I didn't want to get it until I like absolutely needed it. But it was not bad. I had an amazing anesthesiologist. He made it super painless. You do have to sit through contractions while you get it, that's the only thing, but I just try to think of something else. I would like curl my toes, anything to make me not focus on the contraction. So it wasn't bad at all. I think the worst part of this whole experience was being on magnesium. That was the worst thing ever. I was so out of it. I never want to do that again, and hopefully this won't happen in any of my other pregnancies. So yeah, that is my birth and labor and delivery story. Not what I thought it was going to be, but I'm very thankful that God answered so many of my prayers and everything still worked out. And it just shows that his timing is best, and my plans do not matter. It's his plans that matter. And that was a lesson I had to learn the hard way this time, because I had all my plans. I was supposed to be in my friend's wedding, I was supposed to take my board exam, and instead I was having a baby. So everything worked out in the end. We have a perfectly beautiful and healthy baby girl. And oh, I haven't even told you guys her name yet. So Aaron and I named her Lucy K. Stevens. Lucy is just a classic, timeless name that we've always loved, and it was honestly the first one we could agree on. So when we found one we could agree on, we're like, we're just gonna stick with that and call it quits. And then Kay is after my grandma Kay. She's like the sweetest lady I've ever met in my entire life, and we love her so much, and so it was only natural to name her our baby after her. I hope I covered everything. If you guys have questions or things I didn't answer, leave them in the comments or DM me if you need to know anything about preeclampsia. I learned so much. I watched every single birth vlog on YouTube about preeclampsia that I could, NICU stuff. I watched so much, so I wanted to make my own to let you guys know, like, if you're going through something similar, Hopefully it's all gonna be okay. It's just a very scary time, and it's very scary for your health and your baby's health, but all that matters is that, you know, you listen to your doctors and they have your best interest at heart. So anyway, that was my birth story. I'm gonna include all the clips and pictures and stuff that I can, but we are just so thankful to have our little Lucy home with us. We love her so much. Literally, she's the cutest baby ever, and we're just so blessed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be doing a nursery tour next. I'm actually in her nursery now. And then I'll be doing like a baby items that I love, and then we'll be doing her 1 month update. So there's a lot of fun stuff coming up, and I'm still gonna be doing home decor and clean with me's and stuff once I get back into a routine. I'm not even 4 weeks postpartum yet, so I'm still trying to ease myself back into regular life. But thank you guys so much for watching and being here. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I'd love to have you guys on Instagram as well. I share a lot of things back there. So I'll leave all that information in the description bar down below. But I hope you guys have a blessed day or night wherever you are, and we'll see you in our next video. Man, I look like crap. Hey guys, so this is the official start to our labor and delivery vlog. Things have been kind of crazy since last Friday. Today is June 8th, and I've been in the hospital since June 4th. I got diagnosed with preeclampsia, and I've had high blood pressure, and some of my labs have been abnormal, so that's why we are here, and we are being induced around 1 a.m. starting at 1 a.m. Tomorrow, so in just a few hours, like 3 hours. So I've been on the antepartum floor for 4 or 5 days now, and then they're about to move me to labor and delivery, and we're starting induction. So it's not how I wanted things to go at all. Literally never thought we'd be in this situation, but it's just how it is. So yeah, I just wanted to start this before things get crazy and see how many vlog clips we'll get while we're here. But the baby is going to be born early, so we are anticipating a NICU stay, but hopefully not too long of one. And my main concern is having to be put on magnesium during labor, but I'm praying that doesn't happen because it was awful last time. So the baby has had all of her steroid boosters to help her lungs mature and everything, and our goal was just to make it till Wednesday, which we did. So we are in good shape, and all the doctors and nurses here have been amazing, but it's just crazy to know we're going to be meeting our little baby by tomorrow, hopefully. So I just want to get this vlog started. It's not how I thought I would start it. I thought I'd be at home, like, you know, just chilling and my water breaks or something, but this is just what we're dealing with. So, but we're excited, and we can't wait to meet our sweet little baby. We've got Dad over here trying to get some sleep. We're not really, just rest before we start this journey. How are you feeling? Tired? Are you excited though?
Excited. Ready for a long night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very long night. We probably won't get much sleep, but our room we're in right now is actually really nice. The bed is really comfortable. The actual labor and delivery bed is so uncomfortable, but I won't have to be in that too long, hopefully. Last bump shot in the hospital gown. I'm gonna miss this bump. I love it so much. And she's very content in there. I'm trying to get her, she's been kicking. I was trying to get it on camera. There you go. Welcome to our hospital room. We'll be having our baby girl. We've got her cute little, that's where she'll go right when she's born.
Today is June the 9th.
They'll lay her over there.
No, it had stopped. It had been raining, so. There's your mommy.
And Dad.
And Dad. Gonna cut the cord, Dad?
Yep. Got to.
Here's your heart rate. 145.
Yep, she's kicking me a lot.
She's kicking.
She knows it's eviction day.
Yes.
I got my fan.
We can't wait to meet you, sweet Lucy.
Hopefully today.
Yes.
I'd like it to be today.
I
A
know.
6:10 would be good too.
Your
It's a good
mom's
birthday.
been amazing.
I'm just ready for it to be over. So
Wonderful mom.
I'll do my makeup later.
Yeah.
So I look better.
And your wonderful daddy too. He's pretty amazing. We love you. Oh, it is raining again.
Just got my first pill of serving softener.
Yay.
Saturday.
What was it called again? Cytotec?
Yeah, side attack.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad.
And she's on some penicillin.
Yeah, penicillin and fluid.
Fluids, yeah, right now is all. So now she's gonna rest.
Yeah, keep my blood pressure down, hopefully.
Praying you come quickly and
Hopefully
safely.
today, but we'll see.
Green line is the contractions.
They just started me on Pitocin. I'm still only what'd you say, centimeter and a half?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like really thinned out, so they think the Pitocin's gonna ramp it up. Hopefully we'll be meeting her before midnight.
Yeah. There's the dates. And this is where we're at. The X marks. And Mom. Lolly went off and got us some food. Lucy, this is what you're putting your mom through.
She better love me. I mean, she's gonna have. Oh yeah. So I got an epidural. 10 out of 10 recommend. And they put
There's the epidural line.
Yeah. I do have to be on magnesium, unfortunately, but it honestly doesn't feel bad right now. So they said we should have a baby by midnight, if not early morning.
Mm-hmm.
So your birthday might be June 10th.
So many things.
I know.
Breaking the bank.
Yep, Wally didn't get to watch the epidural, but Dad did.
I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably did.
No, I would have been okay, but I just knew I'll let Aaron be here.
Oh, that feels weird.
Oh, you can't feel your leg.
Like, it's
Or
so
it's
tingly.
tingly.
Little too.
Okay, here we
just
go,
said-
Mama.
No, that's mascara.
They just said she's ready to push. Baby's down. Here comes Lucy.
Alright, so when you get a contraction, we're letting you know when. You're going to take a big deep breath. You're going to hold that air in like you're going underwater. And then you're going to pull behind your leg. And you're going to bear down like you're trying to poop. You're going to try to hold your breath for 10 seconds, okay? Okay. We try to do that 3 times.
Yeah, we'll try to push 3 times with each contraction.
Okay. You said grab underneath my legs?
Pull back
Yeah.
your legs, and you're going to curl up like you're trying to touch your chin to your belly button.
We're going to
okay?
help you.
You're going to take a big deep breath and you hold that breath. Fill up your lungs as much as you can like you're going underwater. And bear down in your bottom like you're trying to poop. That's the best way to explain it, okay?
You want to buffer up the floor?
I had paused it because we were having some contractions and variables and she was complete with lots of pressure, so it was like, let me just put this on standby.
Yep, okay. Push big deep breath in.
And push.
Push.
1, 2,
That's all you got.
Hard.
Keep
Keep pushing.
7,
Good job, Mama. Keep going.
9, 10. Good. Quick breath. Do it again.
Come on, and push.
That's all you got.
Good job. Good
A
job.
little more.
3, 4,
Keep going.
5, 6,
You got it. You got it. You got it.
8, 9, 10.
More time.
Oh, you're doing
Take a
great.
breath in and push.
1, 2, a little bit harder.
Harder.
Come on, you
There
got it. You got it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
One more time. Come right back behind it.
Harder. 1, 2,
Good. Keep going. Oh, so close.
8, 9, 10.
Good job. Great job.
Good.
So close.
Really try to fill up your lungs when you take that breath. I think that'll help you, but you're doing great. You're pushing really well. And that's all the extra help you need. Good breath.
It's dark though. It's dark.
It's
here.
dark here.
Yeah. I look like it.
It's not fair.
So proud of you.
lift and give us a push.
Good job, Mama. Good job. Keep going.
Keep going. That's great.
Keep it going.
That's it. You're doing it.
7, 8, 9, 10. Big breath in. Big breath in.
See your head. Go. Put your head. Ready to push.
Can see your head.
Keep going.
4, 5, 6. You got it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Slow down. Take your breath and push.
Give it all you got. Push.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Next time we'll have a baby.
Almost there.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks like it. All right. Let's get it.
There you go. Keep going.
Oh my gosh.
Need some air, baby? Good?
I just can't live. It's really amazing. It's got beautiful hair. Big deep breath.
So close.
And
Hard push. Give it all you got.
hard push. 1,
There we go. Here we go. Here she comes.
5, 6.
All right. Stop pushing. Yeah, thing is a little, yes, it's gonna slide out.
Oh, there she is.
Delivery. 8:15.
Oh,
8:15. Oh my
look
god.
at her.
That's
Oh, there we
what we
go.
want to hear.
Here's how they're gonna dance. Here's how they're gonna dance. Let me see that shit. Oh my!
Well, I have one more thing we're thankful for this year. Our baby.
There we
That's what we
go.
want to hear. Congratulations, guys. 3 seconds.
Yep, mom and you're detached, okay?
Is that how you cut forward? Yeah,
Of course, come on.
that's how you right where to go.
Alright, hang on, just take it right between these two clamps. It's like cutting rubber band. I'll hold it, you cut and kind of push.
Ready?
Uh-huh. That's
Great
it.
job.
Get it up.
All
We
right,
got
Mama,
those.
I'm going to take baby right over here so that we can get her all checked out. Did we have a boy or a girl? We had a girl.
Girl.
That is a girl.
He did. Can you believe he did that?
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Really good.
She's beautiful.